Hey guys, this is Maddie Franco with Great Expectations Realty. For this week's podcast is actually something a little bit different. I had the opportunity to be on location with my broker during a weekend radio broadcast. So I hope you guys enjoy that. It's going to be something, just a little variation. And don't forget that if you are looking to buy, sell, or have any inquiries regarding the Central Florida region, please feel free to leave me a message. And I look forward to being able to assist you. Happy hunting. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey everyone, it's Saturday, February 5th, and my name is Andrea Praber. I'm here with Maddie Franco, and it is time for What's Up Ocala. This is a new program that we've brought to WOCA. It's where we talk about what's going on as far as construction, as far as developments, as far as real estate, and even fun things to do over the weekend. So I want to take a moment and talk to Maddie, who is my first guest here on the program. Maddie Franco is a top producer with Great Expectations Realty, who happens to be our sponsor. And she has been doing real estate for several years now, but why don't you go ahead and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
All right. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. This is always a fun venture, a wonderful way to really reach out to everybody out there that is interested in buying and selling real estate. So I would say for me, just a little bit about me, I've been technically a resident here in the state of Florida now for, golly, I'm going to age myself here, but close to 20 years. And originally from Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised there and love what I do. I've really enjoyed, this is such a dynamic industry. I'm married here, actually, with 2 children, and was formerly a teacher. I was over here specifically in Marion County Public Schools. So that also, I'm able to speak in regards to that experience. And my children also are here within the public education system as well. So it's a dynamic place. I would say it's a wonderful place to raise a family and
absolutely.
Be able to achieve that whole, I hate to use the word balance, but just really being able to have a rich life here with, family, friends, and culture, and you name it. Whatever you want out of this life, you can do it right here in Marion County. So.
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the reasons that I started this show on YouTube and the podcast and so forth a few years back, was because so many people say, well, there's nothing to do. There's nothing going on. I'm like, I beg to differ. We're busy every single weekend. There's so many events. There's so many activities. There's so many changes that are coming up. So just sharing those changes and how exciting it is to really live here and talk through those, I think is a great opportunity for everyone.
I would say on a personal level, initially when I had first come to Marion County, it was one of those things that I was so used to the city life and what that brought. How everything was like in your face sort of thing. You had no choice but to run into people, right? Mm-hmm. Here, you have to be more intentional. And that's one of the biggest differences, I would say, that over here, you have to do your research. You have to find out that there's actually more than meets the eye in Marion County, not only in regards to the things to do, but also when it comes to meeting people. I like to say that we're like a garage door society, that the minute you close your garage door, that's it. Like if you choose to not talk to anyone, then that's your call. But there are, within the last 10 years or so, I have to say I personally have seen a dynamic change within Marion County with in regards to things that involve more community, things to do on the weekend and everything else. But Marion County, and maybe this is something for another show, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but the amount of things that you could do outdoors wise.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
the one thing that I didn't realize
Absolutely.
when I first came here. I mean, if you're into like scuba diving, zip lining, skydiving, the whole nine.
I am thinking about getting my diver's license. It just seems like a really exciting thing to do around here, especially.
It feels like you're flying.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, well, let's go ahead and jump right into some of those changes that are happening. And I mean, this is actually something that we're struggling with nationwide. Mm-hmm. We have a really low inventory for houses being sold, and we have so many people moving here from, from job transfers from all over the nation. So, I mean, what are you seeing in the trenches, so to speak?
So right now, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stats, and I always like to kind of look and see where we're at on a weekly basis. But, just some of the projections, like for instance, the overall listings within the MLS right now, we're only at 849 as of today.
That's crazy. When you consider how big Marion County is, I mean, we're just shy of the same size as the state of Connecticut and far larger than, the state of Rhode Island, but everything's larger than the state of Rhode Island. So I don't know that I'd count that, but so that's a huge, huge area. And to say that there's only that many houses, and that counts mobile homes and mansions. I mean, it's everything in between. So that's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, so that's not a whole lot, and obviously there's always a ripple effect when that happens. We can always speak on the rental market, that having a tremendous effect on that.
Absolutely.
There are, in the trenches, I'll tell you, waiting on new construction right now, it's been a challenge for builders to actually get materials. And so that obviously is causing, before you can really think about getting a house within 6 months being built, sometimes even sooner. And right now we're at about 8 to 10 months. And depending if it's a custom build, you can go over a year even.
Yeah, I know there's some buyers that are building, and they're looking at 18 months because of the windows that they couldn't get from Texas because of the snowstorm. That just slowed down everything. Before that, it was the wood up in Canada. Couldn't get, any wood for construction. It's just been crazy.
This past week, the issue has been for some builders cement.
Yes, I heard about that. Yeah.
Just to get the blocks.
Yeah. So, they can't even get the parts and pieces, much less putting it together.
Yeah.
But,
so, leading on that, it actually brings to light that if you are thinking about selling a pre-owned house.
It's pre-owned. It's not used. It's not resale. It's pre-owned now.
Pre-owned,
Okay.
pre-loved. That has made that market look that much more attractive.
Right. Because there's no wait. There's no delay.
There's no wait. And so you have, I know I'm working with several buyers that are looking at job transfers that have a definitive start date. And so there are thinking, okay, I even had somebody that, a couple that's been in an Airbnb for a little bit, just trying to, in an RV actually. Airbnb could be anything.
Yes.
But they were actually in an RV specifically because they were waiting to find a house.
Right.
And that's a reality for anybody that needs to be here by a certain time and wants to move their family, et cetera.
Well, we have, at Great Expectations Realty, we do have property management, we have rentals, but, a lot of people come down with with several dogs or several pets, and most landlords do not want to take the risk on that. So those are especially struggling because they don't have the options that other people have. So they're coming down here with their kids and their pets and, just normal job transfer, and there's no housing for them. So you're right. It's a great opportunity for people that are thinking about downsizing. They're thinking about selling their homes. But that goes into another problem entirely, something I've seen, and I think it's really changing the market, again, not only here, but throughout the nation, and that's wholesalers. Have you come across some wholesalers out there and about?
So, one of the things that I always, when you're driving and you see these little signs on the corner, cash for home and all that sort of stuff, and you're like, you can't help but be a little bit curious about what exactly that entails. Yes, I have. And I actually have a personal experience, not because I fell into that particular trap, but I had a neighbor that nobody really, she kind of was doing her life, never really saw it outside of her. She was part of the Garage Door Society people.
Okay.
So
what kind of society going there now? Okay.
It's a society. It's a thing.
She was, enigmatic, mysterious, and kept to herself. Kept to herself is a great way of saying that.
Tried
So
to wave
absolutely.
before the garage door went down and all that. But anyway, so she actually ended up selling to a wholesaler. And unfortunately for her, actually sold way below market value.
Well, that's what they go for.
That's the point, right?
So,
maybe you should educate. So tell us a little bit about that. Yeah. What exactly is a wholesaler?
So if you are interested in, you're probably getting phone calls. If you own a house right now, you're probably getting phone calls and letters by someone saying that they do not necessarily want to put you through all the rigmarole of selling your home. You're not going to have to do showings. You're not going to have to work with one of those greedy realtors. You can just go ahead and sell your home straight to them, and they'll do it cash, and they'll even pay your closing, which sounds really good. Yeah. However, do not be fooled at all. And it really is. It's very much, they have done their research. They know exactly how much your house will sell for. And what they're doing is they may not even have the ability to purchase your home cash. They may not have that ability, which is where I go scam. That to me is fraud. What they'll do is go ahead and get you into a contract, and there is an assignability clause, which means that they can go ahead and sell your home for more money to somebody else prior to the closing date. So normally they want an extended time period out. Normally with a cash buyer, a legitimate cash buyer, they will go ahead and purchase your home very quickly. You can normally close 10 days, 2 weeks, something like that. They don't. They drag it out about 30 days, and it's probably for your best interest, of course, because, you'll have more time to move or whatever, And what it is they are going to actually promote your house online, and they will also send messages to us as realtors saying, hey, I have a contract on this house, which means you cannot contact the seller. We cannot warn the seller. We can't do anything with the seller. We will get sued. So they are telling us, we will sell you this contract. We will sell you this house for X amount. Let's say if it's a house that they are buying for, who knows, $80,000, $100,000, they're going to sell the house for $150,000 to one of our buyers. We have so many buyers right now. Of course, we're looking at it. But that means that they're going to pocket the difference, where they have absolutely no ownership of that home. They have no maintenance on that home. They have no bills on that home. It's not their home, but they're still going to pocket tens of thousands, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So for example, your neighbor, about how much was the purchase price versus the sales price?
Purchase price was $110,000, and the sales price was rounding about $375,000.
Okay, so she literally lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And we're seeing that more and more. And it's really changing even our contracts and our deals, because I normally put that assignable clause, I like in contracts in case it's an investor or something they need to, or maybe it's somebody that needs to add a family member. It just means that they can change the name on the contract but still be liable for it, which is great. If it's an investor, it'll be an LLC. They'll want to change to a different LLC. Great, no problem. The problem is because it's being abused, I think that within a short period of time, we're going to see some law changes. But right now, what they're doing, while to me it appears that they're practicing real estate without a license, they actually have more of an option contract, essentially. It's a contract with that seller. So they're just selling their interest in that property, which is completely legal.
And I think, that's another important point, because some people might say, whoa, is that legal? Is that something that's, and it absolutely is. You do not need to be a licensed realtor to actually be able to wholesale a property. And right now the average is about 10 to 15,000 that they're able to profit per house. That is technically the national average on that. I will say, the idea of wholesaling is not much different, just to kind of draw a parallel. But when you're talking about Sam's, right? That's a wholesaler. So generally the idea is that you buy something at a wholesale price, which is much cheaper. And therefore, like if I buy a big box of M&Ms and I go and I sell them individually for a much higher unit price, it's not much different than that.
Right.
The biggest thing the difference between M&Ms and a house, right, is there's a liability. And in this case, sellers lose. They lose because in this market, being that it is a seller's market with such staggering low numbers that we have in inventory, you have to think about the fact that why would you go that route? A lot of wholesalers will end up going that route specifically looking for distressed properties, for looking at people that are more in a desperate situation and they need to go.
They take advantage.
Yeah,
they
and
really
it's lack
do.
of education,
Yeah.
really.
And I think they're really preying on maybe somebody that has, that feeling of insecurity with having people come into their house and stuff like that. And I can definitely see that, so some of our older ones and stuff that don't necessarily feel comfortable with strangers off the internet come traipsing through their home all the time. I can see that. I can definitely see an advantage to them, but there are ways to sell your home while still keeping that in mind. You can definitely do sight unseen showings and virtual tours and stuff like that. Those options are really not being promoted to them, obviously, because it's people that are really taking advantage of it. And that I love the analogy of the M&Ms, but I think the biggest difference with that is you went and you purchased those M&Ms and then you sold them.
True.
These people are not ready, willing, and able to buy those M&Ms. They are saying, I'm going to buy these, put them on hold for me, and then they're selling them without anything coming out of their pocket. And that's what I find is more of a scam. I really just, and if you look on like TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, you will see people bragging about how much they took advantage of someone. And that just makes me nauseous. I just absolutely, so here's the phone call, and they will literally share the phone call of what they're saying with people. And it's just, absolutely heartbreaking to me.
It's unfortunate. And so, that kind of brings about right now, because we are in a market that people really feel that you can put a sign out right now and it'll sell. And to a point, yes, question mark, because you can put a sign out and you will gain some traction. But I kind of wanted to, talk a little bit about sellers. Talk to sellers right now that are, really thinking. And I know that I've worked with several people that are on the fence of whether to sell or not. I mean, the market's hot. They know that they can get a very decent return on their investment. But, of course, the question lies, where am I going to go next, right?
Right,
So-
right. And really knowing that price it really is hard because there is a company that I will not mention who's currently being investigated. We all have seen them online. They are a big seller of houses, I guess, on that starts with a Z, in case you're questioning. But anyway, they, their estimates are not. They're based off of square footage. So you can have a beautiful home that is totally brand new and, 4,000 square feet. And then, it's got a double wide down the street or a mile away, or two mobile homes on the same property or whatever. And it's going to take that same square footage and it's going to say this is the same house. It doesn't matter that one is a mini mansion and the other one is a double. It does not take that into account. So when you have somebody looking at it, common sense dictates that's not the same thing. It's not a true comparable, but it's a computer. It's an algorithm. It's not going to take that into account. It's not looking at the house. It's looking at the square footage and the bedrooms and stuff like that. It does not even take into account acreage, which I find very interesting because horse farms here, that's a big deal. It's a really big deal.
So it's funny because that you mentioned horse farms. I recently went to a meeting, specifically, it was the horse farm community, and there was a very popular appraiser that was presenting, and he was speaking to us regarding appraisals, obviously, but appraisals and how people will look at those estimates and say, well, I don't understand. Well, this says I should be getting X. But there's a lot more factors, and
Absolutely.
I know maybe we weren't planning on talking about this, but if you are a seller and you're receiving offers, see where that pre-qualification is coming from.
Yeah.
Because what's happening is that you'll have a lot of these more national lenders. And some of these national lenders will then go into a pool to be able to acquire their appraisals. And you're going to basically get people that are not familiar with the farm market, with the Marion County market, doing the appraisals on these homes. So case in point, when
Absolutely.
it comes to farms, there's a tremendous value that is put on barns. Barns in Marion
absolutely.
County, like if you are in the
Absolutely.
horse industry, you are more interested in seeing the pastures, what the barn looks like, more so than the actual house.
Oh, absolutely.
And so if you don't know that, and I had that actually happened to me. I sold a farm, and the appraiser was from out of area, and they appraised the property at $100,000 less because they weren't putting any value, in fact, no value, to the barn.
And it was a horse property.
It was a horse property in a horse
Wow,
community.
that's crazy.
So that's something, it's a crazy story, but it does happen. And so you think about the fact that you have all these digital comparables that you're able to find online. And if you put all your heart and soul into thinking that that's the amount that you're going to get, sometimes you're able to get a lot more, because yes, if these
Absolutely.
automated companies are getting all of their information off of online, online module, then you're going to be missing out on quite a bit of value on your property. So that's
right. Well, if these people do have, somebody calling up, if you have gotten a letter or a phone call or something like that, or if you're in a situation like this, how do you get a hold of Maddie so that she can help you? You answer questions for free, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, as do we all. So how do they get a hold of you? If you can give your contact information.
Yeah, sure. So I'm Maddie Franco with the Empire team. I'll just go ahead and say my phone number, 352-843-2424. And if you didn't get that, just check out maddiefranco.com. That's, just an easy way for you to basically see what's happening in real time here. And if you have a question, I do receive text messages, from past clients based on just kind of curious, like they might not want to do something right now. I'm very much not a high pressured person when it comes to that, so
Knowing you, no, you're not.
No, it's not, that's not my shtick. But really at the end of the day, people are curious. They are curious
absolutely.
to see what they can have of their house.
So let's go ahead and we got a few more minutes here. Why don't we go ahead and talk about the market stats and the national average interest rate and how that's affecting buyers and sellers this week?
Well, right now we are at a 3.5 national average. And, right now, just so you guys know, the Fed is planning to raise it. I've heard anywhere between 3 to 5 times this year. So that says a lot, but we also have to think about inflation. Inflation right now, we ended off 2021 at a 40-year high. So that's tremendous. This has to happen, these sort of market corrections. But what does that what exactly does that do when it comes to the buying power that people are going to have? So as interest rates go up, then, it does reduce the buying power for the buyer.
Well, I can definitely say this week we were inundated with buyers that are saying, oh no, I might have missed my chance. Right. So we had so many people saying, well, I'll do it eventually. I'll do it next year. I'll get around to it. And now they're saying now.
Right.
So it's definitely created a sense of urgency with those that are calling us and contacting us to go and look at houses. Go ahead and get started with building that house or whatever their plans are. So I've definitely seen an uptick of that this week.
Yeah.
So
and as far as the median price of homes right now in Marion County, we're heading into the 270s right now. That is the median price, and the days on the market are seen to be actually 9
days on the market.
9 days on the market.
Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so that's an average. But I remember last year, around the crazy times. We had stuff that didn't last 24 hours.
Yes, that was
if it's a nice house, good neighborhood, decently priced, you're going to have multiple offers.
Yeah.
So.
I think if it's priced accurately, it will sell. You can just. That it's a sure thing. It will sell. We have little to no expired listings going on, and we haven't for over a year now. So, all right. So once again, how do people contact you if they are wanting to find out more or just ask questions?
Go ahead. My number is 352-843-2424. And you can also check me out, maddiefranco.com. Also, check out the socials out there as well. You can just type in Maddie Franco or Maddie the Realtor. So there's different ways, even the Empire team. We have a lot of different things out there. So, but yes, you could pretty much a smoke signal almost.
Yes, almost. Yeah. Just do a Google search. It's pretty much, you're in there. You're in there.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the same thing, this radio program was based off of our desire to share everything on the radio, because a lot of people, we have about 22,000 views per month on our company YouTube channel alone. We've had millions of views on the TikTok, and we've had so many views on Instagram and Facebook and everything, but 22,000 people a month want to know what's going on in Ocala. And I can tell you, it's mostly people from other areas. That's not locals that are actually on there very often. So talking about that, let's go ahead and talk about what stuff is you can do here in Ocala. Saturday and Sunday, we've got the Grandview Invitational at the Florida Horse Park. So today and tomorrow, and you can get tickets as low as $15, which is phenomenal. They're absolutely beautiful horses, so definitely want to check that out. You can also go and see the Paso Finos over at the World Equestrian Center. I love those horses. They're so. Have you ever seen them with the little tiny steps? They look like they're dancing. Yes,
it's beautiful.
It's so crazy that we have, of course, all the Clydesdales at the Grandview Invitational, and then we have the Paso Finos, which are more delicate type of horse over at the World Equestrian Center on the same weekend. We also have the free first Saturday at the Appleton Museum of Art. So if you are looking for something to do this weekend, today and tomorrow, absolutely go and check some of that stuff out. It is amazing. And of course, downtown on the square, if you still have time, it's only 10:30-ish. So feel free to stop over on the square. There's a lot of stuff going on because, of course, we've got the farmers market every Saturday until 2 p.m. So grab something to eat for lunch, go and see that, maybe spend the afternoon checking out some horses. So thank you so much for joining me on our first radio show here. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And again, one last time, if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
All right. You can give me a call, 352-843-2424. And I'm Maddie with the Empire team.
Okay. And I'm Andrea Praber with Great Expectations Realty. I'm the broker owner, and I am thrilled to be here with you. Have a great day.
All right. Take care.